I'm sure by now you've heard about the $12 million given to Loblaws. And for those of you who are not in Canada or who don't live near a Loblaws, Loblaws is a supermarket and it's owned by the second richest family in Canada, the Weston family. And this video is not a hit job on them. Hey, if the government gave me $12 million, I'd take it too. Only a fool wouldn't take it. I blame the government. I blame Justin Tacky and Mackdaddy Trudeau. That's who I blame. Now, get this. $12 million. 12 million going to the second richest family in Canada worth billions of dollars. Keep in mind, we only have like 4 billionaires in Canada. I mean, it's very hard to become prosperous, wealthy in Canada. I mean, a typical Canadian lives in a dolly house, which is right close to another dolly house. A typical Canadian works a dead end job he or she doesn't really like, gets stuck in traffic to go to that dead end job, comes back, eats GMO food and drinks fluoridated water, goes to bed, and then repeats the cycle. I call it an economic chastity belt. So $12 million, yet the government says that the veterans, our Canadian veterans who risk their lives to keep us safe, to keep this country safe, they're asking for too much. So our veterans ask for too much, but the Westons get $12 million. Why? To get new refrigerators. I thought we lived in a progressive country here. Seems we don't. I thought we lived in a country where we spread the wealth and we take care of the poor, and I thought that's what the liberals were. I thought the liberals were about social democracy and helping the middle class. Seems they're not. The veterans are asking for too much, but the Westons, oh, $12 million, that's fine, and all for new refrigerators. That's right. The Mackdaddy, the Justin Attackhead Mackdaddy, son of Satan, quasi-Zionist Trudeau, is giving the Westons and Loblaws $12 million for environmentally friendly refrigerators. Now, I'm just thinking of something here. In Canada, when you drive a car, the government tells you you need to buy a car insurance, right? Before Doug Ford got rid of Drive Clean, they told you you had to participate in Drive Clean, correct? The government tells you every year that you have to pay income tax, right? Does the government give you money to pay for any of those things? No. When the government tells you you have to buy car insurance, whether you have the money or not, do they tell you that you have to, do they give you the money for it? When the government says that you have to pay property taxes to live in your house, does the government give you money for that? When the government says that you have to pay a certain amount in income tax, does the government give you money for that? When the government says that you have to buy more environmentally friendly equipment for your house, does the government give you money for that? No. And you're middle class. You're probably even poor. You're in an economic chastity belt, as I described. But these Westons, who are the second richest family in Canada, the government says you guys need environmentally friendly refrigerators. We're going to give you the money to buy it. Why not say, hey, we think you need environmentally friendly refrigerators. You need to install them. And if you don't, and we know you have the money, you're going to install them. Just sign an order saying you guys install them. Never mind the fact if you agree with global warming or climate change. Forget about that. I am saying when the government orders me to do something, they don't help me to do it. They just tell me to do it. So why is the Westons any different? And why are the veterans the ones who are asking for too much? That's what I want to know. Why is it that, do you remember when that veteran boldly stood up to the Mackdaddy, the son of Satan? He went into his sulfur bubble and he boldly stated that, this Mackdaddy is neglecting our veterans. He's cutting on our veterans. He's cutting services and all this sort of stuff. And the Mackdaddy says, well, they're asking for too much. The Westons, $12 million when they have billions of dollars, that's not asking for too much. But the veterans are? Is this the kind of person you want as a leader? Even if you're a liberal, even if you wish the Iranian nation would drop dead, just be honest with yourself. Please, you've seen me. You've seen how I have gone after people like Trump, and I've gone after Ford. By the way, Ford looks like he's redeemed himself with his new subway plan. That looks like he. I was getting a bit worried about Ford, but it seems like he's begun to redeem himself. But I'm fair. I'm an independent. The most hardcore and it's usually left wing people who hate me. The only kind of right wing people who hate me are Zionist shills, Zionist parasite lovers. Those are the kind of conservatives that don't like me. But mostly it's liberals who don't like my boldness, my brashness, my constant attacking of the Mackdaddy, their pimp. But ask yourself this: do you really want to live in a country where your prime minister says that veterans ask for too much, but the billionaire doesn't? And even if you hate veterans, you think they're baby killers, you think they're pigs, you think they're imperialists, so okay, whatever. Okay, but let's look at it this way. You've got natives in Canada who are living with poisonous water even today in a country like Canada, not of their own making, but because of global corporatist pollution tearing up their water. Nobody's forcing them to clean it up. The government, okay, I personally think that they should force those corporatists to pay it up, and the government doesn't spend a penny. But okay, the government doesn't give a penny to the natives, but gives $12 million to the Westons and their family business. Is that the kind of prime minister you really want? I mean, be honest with me now. Be honest with me. Is that who you want? The answer is obviously no. So either he needs to be arrested because of this SNC Lavalin thing, or hopefully he gets removed from office. But I really don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know, because Canadians have this mindset, this slavish mindset. They don't understand the world. And I'm not saying Canadians are inferior. They know how to build roads. Obviously, they built the 401, they built the Trans Canada Highway, they built railroads. They know how to do things. They know how to do jobs. They know how to be astronauts. They know how to be business people. But Canadians are deficient when it comes to understanding the world and when it comes to understanding the type of leader which is a good for a democratic, free, so-called free nation. So that's my take on this whole thing. And I used to work for Loblaws. I don't work for them anymore. I actually just recently got hired at a new company, a full-time position, my first full-time position outside of school. My first full-time paycheck, which will be really good, which will also be really good at, at developing this channel even more. I'll have the funds to do that, and sooner rather than later, we'll be creating Patreon and all those other things, so that if people want to donate to me, they can do that, if they so wish. But as for Loblaws, I don't blame them for taking the money. Hey, if the government gave your business $12 million, don't tell me you wouldn't take it. Anybody would take it. I don't blame Weston. I think he's smart for of course, take it. Take every penny. I blame the government for giving it to him in the first place. That's who I blame. And I blame the government for neglecting our veterans, neglecting our native population, but then giving $12 million to the second richest family in Canada and giving $10 million to a terrorist. This is the Nation.